The night had been quiet until the moment Ethan opened his door and felt his entire world shift in one breath. His boss, Claire Hartley, powerful, polished, always untouchable, stood on his porch with a suitcase in her hand and a strange, unreadable expression in her eyes. She wasn't supposed to be there. She wasn't supposed to look shaken. And she definitely wasn't supposed to whisper the words that made Ethan freeze inside his own home. She needed to stay, needed a break, needed something different. It felt like the universe had just dropped a storm at his doorstep, one wearing red heels and the faintest trace of heartbreak behind her perfect smile. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and unexpected miracles, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It truly helps more people find these emotional stories. Ethan Thompson had never been the type of man who attracted dramatic entrances. His life revolved around simple routines, packing school lunches for his 7-year-old daughter Lily, working double shifts at the marketing firm where Claire ruled with precision, and falling asleep on the couch with stacks of unpaid bills reminding him he was always one step behind. As a single dad, he lived with a soft exhaustion that never left his eyes. But he carried it with quiet dignity, knowing Lily depended on him more than anyone. Claire, on the other hand, was like the opposite end of the universe. She walked through the office like a woman carved from light, confident, elegant, untouchable. People whispered about her brilliance, her strength, her success. But they never whispered about her heart because she never revealed it. Except tonight. Something had changed. When she stepped into his small, warm home, her eyes softened at the sight of Lily's drawings taped on the walls and the traces of love woven into every corner, despite the cracked paint and old furniture. Claire wasn't the kind of woman who belonged in places like this, yet she looked as if she finally exhaled for the first time in years. Ethan didn't dare ask why she was here, why her voice trembled when she said she needed a few days. But he noticed her hands, normally steady, slightly shaking. He noticed the tiredness behind her sharp gaze. He noticed that something had broken inside her long before she rang his doorbell. The next morning, Lily spotted Claire at the kitchen table, and her eyes lit up with innocent excitement. Children never cared about titles or power, they simply saw people. And Lily saw someone lonely, someone who needed warmth. Claire watched Ethan and his daughter move around the kitchen like a small universe, built on understanding and unspoken love. She noticed how gently he tucked Lily's hair behind her ear, how he smiled even when he was tired, how he never complained. It stirred something inside her, a sadness she had ignored for years. She had everything except the one thing Ethan had without even trying, a home that felt alive. Over the next days, Claire slowly unraveled in small ways. She went from correcting Ethan's reports at work with sharp red pen to helping Lily with her homework in soft evening light. She went from hiding her stress behind perfectly styled hair to sitting on Ethan's porch with a cup of tea, staring at the sky with a quietness that didn't feel like control. It felt like surrender. She began talking, not the kind of talking she did in boardrooms, but the kind that slipped out when someone's soul is tired. She admitted she had built her life on expectations. Family pressure, endless responsibilities, a fading engagement that felt more like an obligation than love. And when she finally snapped under the weight of it all, her heart led her somewhere she didn't expect, the only place where someone looked at her like she was human, not a machine. Ethan listened, not trying to fix her, simply being the presence she didn't know she needed. He was gentle in a world too loud, steady in a world too demanding. And Claire found herself smiling in moments she never allowed herself to before, laughing with Lily, helping cook messy dinners, sitting closer to Ethan than she realized until her shoulder brushed his arm, and neither of them moved away. But life wasn't a simple fairy tale. The world outside Ethan's little house kept demanding to be acknowledged. Claire's fiancé called endlessly. Her assistant reminded her of meetings piling up, and the whispers in the office grew louder when they noticed a softness in her tone, a shift in her attention, a warmth she never carried before. Claire felt torn between two versions of herself, the one she built for the world, and the one she discovered here, barefoot, hair loosened, heart vulnerable. Things reached their breaking point one evening when Lily accidentally overheard a tense phone call Claire tried to hide. The child tugged at her sleeve and simply hugged her without asking why she was crying. Claire broke down completely, sinking to her knees in the hallway as Ethan gently placed a hand on her back. For the first time, she wasn't the unshakable boss. She was a woman whose heart was tired of living on the surface. That night, something unspoken passed between Ethan and Claire, a recognition that life had brought them together for a reason neither of them understood yet. She wasn't running away anymore. She was choosing to breathe, choosing to feel, choosing to stay somewhere she was seen. As her few days neared their end, Claire felt a heaviness knowing she would have to leave. But she also felt a spark, a beginning forming between two people who were never meant to cross paths yet somehow fit in the quiet corners of each other's worlds. She stood at the door again, her suitcase beside her, looking at Ethan with eyes that held thanks, sorrow, and something dangerously close to hope. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support truly keeps these emotional stories alive. Before you leave, tell me in the comments, should Claire return to Ethan, or should she fight for a future with him?